fixes something as opposed to somebody who comes across something else, but that's a problem. You know? Look through, see if there's any other random things we can talk about before we get into some of the more TV things, but not really coming across much. And we did talk about some of the TV things already when it came to the Backlash side of things, so go back and check that out. But a lot of the TV stuff, as per usual, really not all that much to talk about. When it comes to Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez, it seems like Perez has made her choice. She is not pro Finn Balor after she cost him his match with JD McDonough. So that kind of puts the end of that feud to me. It's 1 week of, are they going to do something with that? And then just, no, I guess not. We got the same people feuding for the Intercontinental Championship. We got the Sol Ruca situation. She unfortunately botches her finisher in her big segment, but they edited that out, and nobody's going to remember that. Obafemi had its open challenge. Did that powerbomb to Otis. That was fun. Did you guys see that?
What to do after Wedge's tag?
Yeah, and I think Obafemi is fantastic, and he's only going to get better. And I wouldn't mind seeing him be Danhausen's mystery partner, but that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so. That would be kind of funny, though.
Just let him beat the crap out of Miz and Kit Wilson, and then Danhausen tags himself in, and boom.
We also had the Creed brothers are now going to go by Los Americanos Hermanos. We got 2 more Americanos.
That feels like it's a year too late, doesn't it?
At least a few months too late. When he came back, and it was like, okay, Chad Gable's original El Grande Americano, they probably should have just already done that.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, they should have had them ready to go.
Oh, wow, okay.
But, if it gets them in the ring, okay, because I'm really tired of people just literally doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I like this gimmick, but,
they were sitting around literally doing nothing, like you said. If anything, they were wrestling on main event, which nobody fucking watches.
That's why I'm a fan of, the bait and done doing this angle, because it's literally better than them sitting around.
I don't see anything else actually we're talking about from Raw here that we didn't already get into. So I guess let's move into NXT. A couple things that are interesting there. And I'll give them credit for this. NXT's not great in a lot of ways, but they always do keep things interesting. And there are a lot of people that are gunning for that NXT Championship and all right now. Tavion Heights, at the beginning of the show, is attacked by Tony D'Angelo. Later on, they end up having a match, and that goes the way that you expected it would. Tony D'Angelo retains that title. He gets attacked by the guy that we were introduced to last week, and they didn't have a name for him. Now they do have a name for him. Because Will Cruz ends up cutting a little promo to the camera and saying that he is Mason Rook. So there goes that name that we were saying probably would make sense to go along with him. But on top of that, we also know the name for Evil. And as much as everybody was assuming he would be Nox Raijin, and even people reporting that this was confirmed and such, he is actually Naraku, which apparently means either the underworld or hell or something along those lines. I think that's kind of decent enough name. I think that's it serves its purpose. If you want to have a one name short thing like that, I never thought that Evil was a good name, to be honest. But Naraku, sure. Will Cruz is Mason Rook. That's one of those generic ass names. Sure, why not? But how do you guys feel about this? Now we got the Evil out of the New Japan side of things. What's the era of Naraku going to be for you guys?
Well, it'll be better for Callum, because he's not going to be watching. I like the name a lot, just because it's a one-name thing, and I had been talking about wanting to maybe go back to that. And it's better going from Evil to this than Evil to Nox Raijin. As far as Mason Rook, yeah, it checks out. To me, it's no different in terms of star power than Will Cruz, even though I like the way he spelled Cruz. I'll give him credit for that. But I think he's going to be awesome. He's getting a lot of flack right now for his look. That's because people suck. He's getting a lot of flack right now for his look. That's because people suck. But I think he's going to be awesome. And not only because from what I've seen of him, he's great, but John Cena just keeps celebratorily talking about this man. And, that cannot work out in a negative way for you.
That's going to be John Cena's game-changing announcement on Backlash. He's going to be like, Mason Rook has already been promoted to the main roster.
Yeah, and I'm putting Mason Rook on the main roster. They said I could have one thing, I chose this.
Yeah, I mean, the name Mason Rook is totally fine. It's like, it's one of those ones where you don't feel embarrassed reading it out, and feel like, that sort of sentiment they always do, like, can you imagine Mason Rook being in WrestleMania main eventer? It's like, yeah, probably can. It's a fine enough name to be a WrestleMania main eventer. And yeah, I think the look is unique, and not everyone should just be the same generic 6-8 pack, like muscle-bound wrestler. Like, you should have some people that are just built differently. So that's cool. I think that's like with Evil Naraka. Is it Naraka, you said?
Naraku.
You work during,
Naraku, sorry. Naraku. I don't feel I'm a huge fan of the one name approach for that. I think like he probably should have a surname or the first name. I don't know which way they would go about it with that one. But because I don't know, it seems like I've just been bitten too many times with the way they treat Japanese wrestlers, that it feels like, I mean, to be fair, they treat like wrestlers with a first name and surname from Japan bad, but it just feels like, oh, is this another Funaki or Tajiri or something? Tajiri's slightly different because that was his name on the other sides of things as well, but
Hakushi didn't last all that long, and
yeah, Hakushi, and they wanted to make the guy that ended up being Kenta Suzuki, they wanted to name him Hirohito at the start of his run as well, so it's
boy, is that bad.
Yeah.
That was bad on a different level.
Yeah. What I say is I hope if they are going with this, the more horror aesthetic with him, I hope they keep him away from that executive that apparently really hates all the horror stuff in WWE. Because he'll go up to the main roster and then say like, oh, what's this guy doing with the goth makeup on? He's got to be released immediately.
we need to give him a last name, but we need to make it a little less dark because he's going to be Naraku Jones.
I've been that way for a while.
And he said he's going for the NXT Championship, which of course we know that Mason Rook is going after and all, and they're resetting the roster a little bit here and there. One of the ways to do that, Callie Armstrong beats Jada Parker. Natty shows up to call Jada Parker soft. And I'm very curious if this is just one of those one-off things where they decided we're not doing anything with Natty right now, let's just move her there. Or if this is something where maybe she's part of one of the groups of taking the pay cuts and maybe they were like, well, we want to use you more in NXT going forward. But I will say this, as far as the I told you so's. Told you so. Natty being this Natty gimmick was not going to end up doing anything more than the usual 3-week push that she gets. They do not want to push Natty. It's as simple as that. And it's not going to happen anymore. So, as many times as she wants to do the different gimmick of whatever variation of I'm tough now and I'm going to kick everybody's ass and I'm a legend and whatever, WWE refuses to let that go anywhere. And she's somebody that I'm assuming would be a lifer that they would probably be like, yeah, we're going to phase you out and stuff. Not saying I would do it. I'm not condoning it or anything like that. I think that Natty has been crapped on for the majority of her career in WWE, and I wouldn't have pushed her to be a 20-time champion, but at the same time, I would have given her more leeway than they ever gave her. But maybe we start seeing Natty in NXT a little bit more. That could be a good spot for her. She's certainly not going to be winning any of the championships on the main roster.
went to Memphis, Tennessee.
First of all, I would have pushed her to be a 20-time champion over the people that were on the roster during the first half of her career.
I'm not gonna argue against you on that one. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think this is a net positive. Like, she wants to work with people and help them further along. Jada Parker trains at the dungeon. She wants to help.
Hey, I've ridden a bull in less, so yeah. This camo hoodie has become a big staple. There's an alternative album cover that I'm wearing it in. When I'm at home and I'm just living life, like, this is kind of what I wear all the time, so I'll let this one go.